Coming to you straight from the Rio Grande and beyond, broadcasting to the four corners of the globe. So grab your seat, your coffee, or your sundowner.
Okay, everybody, here we go.
On point, as always. This is Gloves Off. Gloves Off.
Back at you in Gloves Off. I'm Professor Buitrón, and today we have a family advocate from the Panhandle of Texas, Ms. Jessi Bailey, and we're going to be touching base on issues that are happening with the courts, with lawyers, and how parents that are fighting for their rights to see their children are being denied, whether it's malicious or non-malicious, or it's just a habit of forming. She has something interesting for you all to see. How we doing today?
I'm good. How about you?
Good. Everything's good. I'm glad to see you again.
Good to see you too.
It's been a while since we did the documentary, and I'm glad you called and trying to voice what's happening, what you found out, because everybody, I know this is very painful to many, and especially when we go and we put our trust into an attorney, and the attorney's the one that's causing this damage, if you want to say that. It's more painful. So let's see, what have you found? What's going on?
What have I found? Well, I found off of going down rabbit holes and stuff. I found this website called researchtexas.gov, and I was able to look up what kind of attorney my attorney was. You're able to go in and it shows you what's been filed. It gives you a date. It gives you the parties' names. You can't look at the documents if it's in a family law case or whatever. But I started looking at it, and every other. I mean, if it wasn't every one, it was every other one that he had filed a TRO in, a temporary restraining order, which is after a year and a half, when I finally hired him, I had a TRO filed in my case. So I thought it was the opposing counsel, but actually it was my attorney that had called to set it up with the opposing counsel to file this TRO. And I guess it's because he makes more money off of conflict.
And the TRO, meaning, explain a TRO for those folks that are out there. What is it and what was it?
A temporary restraining order. It can be used for a lot of things.
And it can be used for a lot of things, but how was that used in your case?
I wasn't seeing my kids anyway, so it was basically just to harass me. It's supposed to be, irreparable damage. The child's got to be in danger before you're able to issue one. But if you go and do an ex parte communication with the judge and say this child's in danger, the judge is going to issue one because he doesn't want to be wrong. So, it's an ex parte communication. So you're not even there to defend yourself. So you already look bad right off.
And your own attorney did this?
Yeah. I was sitting in his office and that's when I realized that you really need to start recording. You need to record everything, because that's your best weapon. That's your weapon to defend yourself. And I was sitting there, and he got on the phone and he called opposing counsel. Well, the assistant answered the phone, and she's like, yeah, I just got off the phone with Judge Messer right after I talked to you. And he's supposed to, we're supposed to talk to him about TROs, and wanted to make sure that he was going to file it. So, I mean, he didn't object or anything.
So what you're saying is your own attorney placed a TRO restraining order on you towards your child?
Yes, but the opposing counsel filed it, but it was set up between the both of them, yes.
And this is then, and all these findings, you're finding it in this website?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But
Sorry.
that's in a way that's sickening, because your one is placing the trust into an attorney, and the attorney's doing this behind your back, going against you and trying to not only making you look bad, destroying your life, and they just walk away nonchalantly. There has to be some kind of malpractice against the attorney. There has to be some type of have we filed with the state bar? Has anything of that happened?
I haven't. Well, I just now recently found out that it was my attorney that had done all this. But I did file a bar complaint on the opposing counsel, but it got dismissed. I did an appeal. It got dismissed. So I'm working on my bar complaint for my attorney. But
And this website tells you exactly what's going on.
it kind of gives you an idea of
Who's talking to who?
what kind of attorney you're dealing with. Like, I noticed that he does a bunch of continuances. There's a bunch of restraining orders, extraordinary relief, wage withholding. I mean, a lot of those things that when you go in just to enforce your time with your child, and then all this stuff comes up, it just causes conflict. It wastes time, more time, more money. You don't get to see you don't get to see your kid, and they just drag it out till they age out.
You're correct on that. They drag it out until it ages out, and they took an oath, and they're not following that oath, and it seems to be a pattern not only in the Panhandle. It seems to be a pattern throughout Texas. I'm not going to say all attorneys are that way, but I'm going to say that a huge portion of attorneys play in that field. And it is just sickening to see that nobody's doing anything about it. You go to the bar is thrown out. I've seen it. I've experienced something to that point of what's happening. There has to be some attorneys that would use malpractice against them, because they have to be liable for something that they've done in harm. Could it be a crime? I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's negligence. I think it's misconduct. It's definitely wrong. I mean, look at how many people. I don't think many people know about what's going on. I was hit with the TRO, and I was like, well, what did I do? I'm slammed with it, and now I'm defending myself for something I didn't do, instead of the 50-something violations that we were supposed to go to court for.
Absolutely. And this website is where?
It's I guess it's kind of like an extension from the e-file, the e-file-texas.gov. It's called researchtexas.gov, and you just go in there, and the first thing I did was put in my case to see what was filed, and actually my attorney wasn't even attached to my case, the last one I had. So, and there were a bunch of documents that weren't listed properly. Like, my TRO wasn't listed on there, but on my case file, it shows the TRO. So, and that may just be the bigger cities are probably, more up to date, but, we're up here in the Panhandle, we're kind of behind everybody else.
Okay. And you started seeing a pattern that your attorney does this to others?
Mm-hmm.
Is that what you're saying?
Yes. I emailed you a sheet of a lot of his cases, and I highlighted, like, every time he does a continuance, a restraining order, extraordinary relief, a wage withholding. It's like every other case, if not every case, that he does it. And I don't think these parents have any idea. And it's not just parents, it's people getting a divorce, or people going in to enforce their time with their child. So
That is
but
just sad.
it
What?
is sad. I also noticed that he's got a lot of confer with the child, which in my case, I didn't want my daughter to testify. I wanted to leave her out of it, but actually it was my attorney that called my daughter to testify off the record.
So she testified off the record.
Had no idea what she said.
Were you present when this occurred?
Yes, it was a Zoom hearing, and my attorney asked me, and I said, I don't want her to testify, I object. But he ended up calling her anyway. And I guess they went in judge's chambers or whatever, but yeah, I have no idea what she said. And the judge came back, and that's when he said that I don't think that it's in her best interest to see you right now. That he suspended my time for, I think it was about 8 months. So
I've seen and I've witnessed, if I want to put it that way. You're in court in the daytime, and the opposing attorney is with the judge, and then at night walk into a restaurant, and that judge and that attorney are sitting down together.
yep.
You know what I'm saying? I've witnessed that. I've seen it. So when you look at that, people will say, yeah, but they're friends and this and that. There's something in Texas, and that's why I called the documentary that you're in and you told your story, Judicial Cosa Nostra, the War Against Parents. And I'm going to link it right now. And the first one for people to see it, because people need to understand what's going on. It's a 6-part documentary, and I interviewed you in telling the story. And what happens to parents, not only in Texas, throughout the United States, it's appalling. You know, they're destroying children on them making money. Really, that's what it is. And they're claiming that they're doing it for the good. I think we have to change legislation. It's going to be hard, but everybody has to stick together. We have to do a term limit period. You're there for 2 terms, and that's the end of the story. We have to have a better system of looking into the state bar instead of lawyers taking care of investigating their peers or their colleagues. Nothing ever gets done unless there's something really, really outstanding. So it's kind of like the fox taking care of the hen house, so that nothing's going to happen. People say when you go TROs and enforcing 2503, well, the district attorney is also a lawyer. He's not going to go against the judge. Who's another lawyer who's going against the other. You know what I'm saying? So they're lawyers helping lawyers, and I get it. I understand. You want to help your colleague, but you're doing it at the expense of a child. You're doing it at the expense of somebody that's going out there until somebody snaps. And we're in that position right now, that in this time and day and age, that somebody's going to snap the wrong way, and people are not going to like it. And they're going to say, you see what I hate about lawyers, what I hate about judges, and what I hate about district attorneys, as well as police, is they'll turn around and say, you're a violent person. They condemn somebody without ever having witnesses, without ever saying anything, and everybody thinks it's the law, and that's not right. You see that those condemnations are not part of our American system. They're not part of our Constitution as well. Just to judge somebody and condemn them the way they do it, and then all of a sudden somebody's hurt. Turn around and say this person does this, and they'll outright lie, and that person is burned for life.
That's right. It does affect you. I mean, false allegations of abuse. How many other people have they told that you've done this, and they look at you, they want to stand off because they don't know if it's true or not. But you were talking about going in a restaurant and seeing an attorney and a judge sitting together. Well, a judge is supposed to remain impartial. He's supposed to be an impartial impartial to the case, but how do we know what they're talking about?
Absolutely. Or you
I
see,
mean,
or I've seen it many times. You see the attorneys opposing attorneys in a case going up against each other. Then later on, you see them in the bar sitting down and having a drink together, watching a football game. I get it. I understand. Maybe you went to school, law school with together. Maybe you were peers in that. But issues like that in the community, and they do it openly. You know what I'm saying? And they're going to come out and say, "Well, you can't control who we hang around with. You can't control it." Yes, but you have a case. You have to be separate. You never know what things happen, and destroyments of lives happen all the time. And unfortunately, that is the case. I remember I walked into an attorney's office in Dallas at one time, and he had a plaque that says, "A good attorney knows the judge."
mhm.
And I looked at that little plaque, and I was like, "Yeah, you know, this is what I say. People need to start from the beginning. Whether you get a. This is something that I'm not an attorney. It's something that I've seen by observation and helping people in politics and so on and so forth. Is that you have a lot of attorneys that help out judges in their campaigns. There's a lot of campaign distributions by law firms to judges throughout. For example, Judge A, you just get served papers from Judge A by this attorney. I would look at the campaign contributions of Judge A, and you can go to the elections office and ask for open requests, or they might just give it to you. You might have to pay something for it. Get that because it's going to be, and look and see if that lawyer that sued you gave campaign contribution to the other one. And I would do this. And if it's not, and it's false in that case, I will look at those attorneys that gave money to that judge campaign, and I will call them up and hire those. I'm sorry to say, but let's play the game that they're playing.
Exactly. I mean, don't fight with them. Let's play their game.
You want to play? We can play.
We can definitely play.
You know what I'm saying? And we can play, and that's just the best way to do it. Use the law and use what's open with them.
Yeah, I mean, an attorney's first obligation is to the court, and then themselves, and then us. So that's
Right.
how it
So
is.
that's what it is. And let's talk a little bit more about your research of what you're doing. What else have you found out?
I've been, the judiciary, the canons, and about, a judge is supposed to remain impartial. They're not supposed to have ex parte communications. They're supposed to be patient and they're supposed to comply with the law. When I talk about, I think about my case and about how I noticed things right off. Our very first hearing, we settled because I didn't want my daughters to testify because it was already set up they were going to testify against me if I was going to hold their dad in contempt. So I settled to protect them. And it was predetermined before we went in there that the attorneys had this set up to do this. So, but the judge said right off, well, I know some of the allegations that have been alleged in this case. What does he know? And then he goes on to say, well, I hope that counseling, I hope you work on yourself in counseling to work on whatever those problems may be. So why am I the one with the problem? I mean, you're the one not letting me see my kid. So you're my problem. It was just stuff like that that I noticed. But just know your rights. Know the law. Know what you can and can't do, and record. course.
Absolutely. And we'll put that website up here, okay, for people to see it. And just, and in fact, I'll type, we'll have it scrolled in the bottom right now, and for people to be able to see what the website is. Okay.
Okay.
And and we'll link it at the bottom because people need to do their research, especially in cases.
Thank you.
Because this is a case that can finish destroying a family. Okay, and what I say by that, divorce makes that split. We have two loving parents that want to be with their children, and if judges and attorneys and are the ones that are actually making them hate each other and split up, which that seems to be the case, um, then we need to stop that. That needs to be stopped now. There has to be some legislation going up there, but it's kind of hard, that you have a lot of attorneys and a lot of these representatives. There's a lot of attorneys that are state reps and state senators and so on and so forth. And I mean, there are lawmakers, but we have to bring it in, even if we have to do a type of state referendum where we pass something by a vote, and we have to do that. But again, it comes down to this. I've seen your work. I've seen you work within the groups and be a great advocate. You've gone to the state. You've seen the way the state is. But there's not that many parents that will stand up. This happens to the parent. This happens to many parents. Okay, you're standing up against just this one attorney that's done it to how many other individuals that that never stood up and to fight it out.
That probably
So
don't even know it. I mean, I think I counted 100, at least 100 TRs.
And I'm pretty sure that those people might know, but they don't know that it was their attorney that was going against them. If that's the case, that's what it is. It's so sad. But what I'm trying to get at is parents need to stand up and unite, and it has to be done something similar to MAD, and it has to be done now. Egos have to be placed aside. Everybody has to stand up in a one front, and that's it. And maybe protest the Capitol or protest. The Capitol, Austin, they have protests left and right, and start hitting these district attorneys for them to do their job. They're the first. There's the first line of defense. The judges as well. And if we see a judge that's against that, we might have to just pick it outside the courthouse.
I mean, we're in war for our kids. I mean, that's what it is. We're at war, and they're taking our kids. They're kidnapping and holding our kids for ransom. That's what it is.
Absolutely. And it's sad because it's happening.
It is. I mean, you think about it. Are they fit parents themselves? I mean, to actually do this to another parent that didn't do anything. I mean, are they fit parents themselves? And I mean, I think what was it? My judge said in one of our hearings that I've made mistakes with my own children. I don't need to make mistakes with other people's children. Okay, so why are you hearing my case? How many other cases have you heard? If you've made mistakes with your own children and you don't know what you're doing, why are you hearing these cases? So.
Well, I want to thank you for standing up once more and keep doing what you're doing, because your voice is being heard by many others, and keep on that fight. And one day, where there's true love, your kids are going to come back to the parent. That's always what I'm saying. And it's sad that what they've done to many, but we now have to start using it now. We always have to start using their laws, their playing rules against them, and we will do that. We will prevent.
Well, let's pit them against each other and see how they like it.
Absolutely. Until next time, much peace. God bless you. Guys out there, you all stay safe. Hug your kids. And remember, be well. Till next.